Hey guys, another edition of Quarantine with Coaches. Today I got another special guest. It's Coach Brian White. He's at Hampton University. Coach, how you doing?
Doing good today.
You surviving the quarantine out there, out
Yeah,
east?
yeah, no, it's pretty good. Things are starting to open back up a little bit. Was at church this morning actually for the first time in 2 months, I guess. So things have started to look better. Obviously, everybody's got masks on and doing social distancing and all that. But things are starting to. We're in phase one here, so hopefully we'll get into 2 and 3 and move along as fast as we can and safe as we can with this.
Hey, one thing I really liked about you is you have a little bit of experience at Division III level, but you also have worked for some of the biggest and best, college football programs in the country. Can you just talk a little bit about your path to Hampton?
Okay, well, I played at Juniata College, Division III school in Central Pennsylvania. I'm from Northern New Jersey, which is pretty much the exact opposite of rural Central Pennsylvania. But I was looking for a place where I could play, and I lie and say I'm 5'10". So it's hard for me to find a place where I can play, and there's a lot of guys like me at the Division III level who might be undersized or whatever, too short, too slow, too this, too that, whatever. It's a whole league of guys who are too something. But I'm grateful that school gave me the opportunity to play, and I had a great career there. And I wasn't a great player, but I really enjoyed my career there. And just talking to my coach there, Kevin Burke was the head coach I played for there. I'd always thought about coaching in high school, because it's what I knew. Just having played high school ball and college ball was new to me. That it hit me in my sophomore year. I was talking to Coach Burke, and I said, "Wait a minute, this is all you do," because he had no teaching. Obviously, coaching is teaching, but no classroom teaching responsibilities. All he did was recruit and coach ball. I'm saying that's all you do, and there's a lot to that now. But I'm saying that's great. How do I sign up for that? And he kind of led me on that path where he got me the spring of my junior year. I was doing an internship at Juniata for credit. So I'm still a player, but in spring I'm getting credit that hang around the office, basically, certain amount of hours a week. And I went way over the hours I needed to. And they even gave me a little recruiting area. Everything was paper and pencil back then. So, I had my physical recruiting book. There was no front rush or nothing then. It was this big binder with the blue pages in it. And, I had my own little area of New Jersey in recruiting and, kind of got my feet wet that way. And then after my senior season, that next spring, I did it again, bumped it up to 6 credits this time. So, spent a lot of time in the office and got a lot of good experience learning and started applying for jobs. They taught me about Football Scoop, and I was looking on the Scoop every day trying to find a job. And the one job that got posted was a post-grad job at Hargrave Military Academy, which the school's still there, but the PG program at Hargrave is no longer in existence. But I don't know how, but somehow I got that job. Coach Prunty, who I actually work for now at Hampton, he hired me to coach the O-line at Hargrave, and it was just an unbelievable experience because I was there the 2004-2005 season. We had every major college coach in the country coming through. Because at the time it was Joe Paterno, Pete Carroll, Urban Meyer. Everybody was coming through there to recruit our guys, because out of the 5 linemen I had starting, all 5 of them went to what's now Power 5 schools, and the 2 tackles I had, Brandon Albert and Jared Gaither, both ended up playing the league. So we were loaded. We had 30 guys signed Division I each of those years, and everybody went on to play somewhere from there. So honestly, being at Hargrave gave me just a lot of connection, working with a lot of coaches, and Maryland was a school that we sent a lot of guys to, in addition to Jared Gaither, but a lot of guys went from Hargrave to Maryland, and just got to know all the coaches on their staff at the time. And graduate assistant job came open. I didn't get it the first time it came open, but then a year later it came open again. And the thing about Maryland was they needed somebody who could get into their graduate school. So, basically I applied to the school, got in, and I called them up, said, hey, I'm in. And between, Coach Prunty helped me out with Coach Friedgen there, and was able to get on to Maryland, spent 3 years there as a GA. I worked with the O-line at first, and then best thing that happened to me was I got moved to the skill position, which I was upset about at first because I'm an O-line guy. That's what I do. That's what I know. But, just learning all about, receiver play, running back play, quarterback play was really, really beneficial. So, in fact, my last game there, we had Danny Peterman, our special teams coordinator, left to go to Clemson. And, the rest is history there because he's still on staff there. But, that left it open for tight end job, special team coordinator. So I got to do that on an interim basis for the bowl game. And we beat Nevada in the Humanitarian Bowl, it was called at the time, on the blue turf there at Boise. So, I was at Maryland for 3 years and graduated and, was looking for a full-time job. And I said, like I said, I was looking for a full-time job, but I said, well, if I could GA at a place like Notre Dame, because I grew up, Irish Catholic in New Jersey, huge Notre Dame fan. I said, if I could work at a place like Notre Dame, I would. So I found out there was a GA opening there, applied for it, and was about 37th on their list of guys they were looking at. All of them, like a lot of former players, turned the job down. Just basically, they went through a lot of people and finally got to me. The director of ops at Notre Dame knew our receivers coach at Maryland through a Holy Cross connection, and got my foot in the door there. Did a year at Notre Dame, and we were 6-6 in 2009. Which we had a great team. We were Manti Te'o was a freshman. We had Golden Tate, Michael Floyd. We were a really good team. Put a lot of pros out there, but team record wise, we were 6-6, which Notre Dame standards is going to cut it. So. Our staff got let go. So I was out. I was out at the convention in Orlando looking for a job, and I was fortunate to two of the coaches I worked with at Maryland ended up on staff with Butch Jones at Cincinnati. So I went down to Cincinnati. There was a big trade. They sent Brian Kelly to Notre Dame to get me down to Cincinnati. That's the joke I always tell about it. So went to Cincinnati for a year, and then our tight ends coach at Cincinnati, Mark Elder, played for Jeff Sokol, who's the head coach of Rose-Hulman. Just got the job at Rose-Hulman at the time after a year at Cincinnati. And he said, hey, my guy got a job got a head coach job at D3. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah. And I looked up Rose-Hulman in Terre Haute, Indiana. And, man, it's a great school. It's an unbelievable engineering school. There's a place where, I think we could go and win big. And, went there for 7 years and went through conference championships and really, really had a great experience there. And then prior to the 2018 season, as I mentioned, Coach Prunty, everything comes full circle now. Coach Prunty, who I worked for at Hargrave, got the head job at Hampton. He called me up, said, would you like to come along? And this will be our third season here. So that's kind of the full circle story there.
Yeah, here you are now at Hampton. Can you talk a little bit about how those jobs at GA level and maybe your experience at Division III have prepared you to get to Hampton?
Well, I look at it like I'm still a GA. I still work like a GA. I don't. That's always been my mindset. Like if something's got to get done, I'm going to do it. That's to me the fastest, most efficient way to get something done. I'm never going to say something's below me. If it's got to get done, it's got to get done. I'm not going to look around for who else can do it because as a GA, it's going to roll downhill to you, and you're going to have to find a way to get it done. And a lot of times nobody's going to explain to you, hey, here's A, B, and C, what you need to do. This is what we got to get done. Figure it out. So like I said, I've never changed my mindset from that. Titles don't really matter or mean nothing. It's all about everybody pitching in, trying to figure out how to win.
And you've had this long history working with offensive line. And I always like to talk to offensive line coaches because, I play the position. You've been around it for whatever, 10, 15 years now, even longer. Um, Offensive line usually have their own subculture of a team, right? How do you go about building your culture in your offensive line room?
Right. Well, I mean, offensive line. I mean, we're individuals, but we've got to work together. So we have to get to know each other. Guys need to be able to communicate with each other on the field. We need to be able to communicate. Coach to player and player to player and player to coach. And I mean, everybody's got to be able to get on the same page and be able to fix problems quickly. Because we develop. You mentioned it's own culture. We develop our own language, how we talk to each other. We've got to be able to, fix problems very, very quickly. And not on an individual basis. It's the 5 of us, 6 of us, including the coach, and sometimes there's a 7th guy involved with the tight end. But we've all got to figure out how to get this problem solved. So it's really, guys sweating. Because to me the biggest way to get our group together is to really work them and really push them, because I think, stress and work produces a unit. I mean, you really see when you create a little adversity, you really get guys to come together and fight through it. So I know it's got to kind of phased out, but we're on the sweat a lot. I mean, we work really, really hard to practice. Because, like I said, we want people to look at us and be like, hey, that group works harder than anybody, and that'll help us bond as a group.
And last question here, as you sort of reflect on your career so far, having been at some of these prestigious D1 places and now as a position coach at this level, can you talk a little bit about maybe the advice you'd give to a young coach who's trying to emulate, the career you've had?
Well, I think, I think I kind of laid it out a little bit, just, whatever your title is, whatever your job is, just find a way to get as much done as you can possibly, and not to step on anybody else's toes, but, step outside of your comfort zone, step outside of your job description, so to speak, because everywhere I've been, there's things I've done that aren't, I wasn't asked to do, that I wasn't, necessarily in charge of, but I took ownership of that. I took the reins on it, and just, I've always tried to make myself as valuable as possible by learning as much as I can, learning, finding jobs that people don't want to do and doing it for them to make their life easy, whether it's the coordinator above you or the position coach above you or the head coach above you. Like I said, just getting good at the computer, getting good at as many possible, getting good at video, getting good at recruiting, getting good at coaching, obviously, but just getting good at as many things as possible so that you're always valuable.
Before we let you go, we'll do a little rapid fire here. Are you ready to go?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Book that's had the biggest impact on you.
The book that had the biggest impact on me, there's a book, A Fighter's Mind by Sam Sheridan. I read it. I got it right before I started at Rose Holman, and it really, your guy Brian Vaughn knows all about it too, but really had a big impact on me, and it introduced me to a lot of interesting people, because Sam Sheridan is basically the premise of the book is he talked to all these different fighters from different, boxers, martial arts guys, and the one that had the biggest impact on me was Dan Gable, the famous wrestler and famous wrestler and coach, which, like I said, that chapter had the biggest impact on me. Just talked about motivating guys and how important conditioning and just mental toughness is in being successful.
What's been your go-to quarantine television series?
So, I mean, to be honest, I feel awful every time I sit down and watch a TV show. I mean, but besides Seinfeld, I mean, if I sit down and watch something on Netflix or YouTube or whatever, besides this show, I'll be like, man, that's a hour I wasted. So the big thing I picked up during this period was got back on the guitar. So that's been my kind of binge, so to speak, because there's, because I used to play, I'm awful, but that's, some of this newfound free time I've kind of invested into that.
Awesome. What's been your go-to quarantine meal?
So there's my concern about all this is supporting local businesses, and there's a great right off of campus here at Hampton. There's a great Caribbean restaurant, and it's nothing was ever shut down here, but it still is takeout. I mean, you have to wear your mask and go over there and you get a takeout. So once a week, and this has been my ritual anyway, but once a week I've been going over there and like I said, but I've been making sure I do it now, just like I said, to support the local businesses here.
Well, what's the meal? What's the go-to
meal?
It's
well, they got a great lunch special. This is free advertising. They got a great lunch special from 11 to 2 every weekday. I normally get the jerk chicken with cabbage. So you get your meal, your 2 sides, and a drink. And I usually get jerk chicken with cabbage for both sides. But then, sometimes they got oxtail, which I found that I like, but normally the jerk,
Do you want to shout them out real quick? See if they want to sponsor
Palm Tree Caribbean Cafe in Hampton, Virginia.
Last question here. I know that you were part of a wild game. I think 2014. You're playing my alma mater. Is 75 points in a game the most you've ever been a part of? Whatever the total offense you guys had, is that the highest point total of all time for you?
No, we that was 74-68 against Illinois College. But yeah, that was a wild game. But no, we had 2 other times at Rose. We beat 2 other times we hit 80. So we hit 83 once and 80 another time. So that game against Illinois College was the 3rd highest.
It's crazy. Coach White, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on Quarantine with Coaches.
No problem. Thanks for having me.